things are looking good here. At last, we are finally here, at the end of the road. Nowhere left to go, but forward. Hello everyone, Artemu the Violent Wizard here. And today, this is gonna be the final session of our Pokemon Sapphire Nuzlocke run. We have made it to the Pokémon League, the final stop on our journey. All that lies ahead now are the last battles of this run, and then this challenge is gonna be over. Hard to believe we are already here at this point. But then again, we have definitely been playing this game for quite a few months now, and definitely feels like a good time to start wrapping things up, you know? So yeah, this has definitely been an interesting run to do the last couple of months. Definitely been very happy with how things have turned out. But at the same time, it's been pretty exhausting having to work on this behind the scenes, like doing all the art that I've been doing for the thumbnails, as well as grinding my Pokemon to make sure that they are optimally leveled for the challenges that we are facing in all of these sessions. And believe me, I had to do a lot of preparations in order to get this one ready. But we are finally here. So, I believe the question on everyone's minds is, which Pokemon are we taking with us into the Hall of Fame? As we can only bring 6 Pokemon with us into the final challenge. So I have settled on these 6 Pokemon that I feel will be optimal for dealing with the threats we are going to be going up against. So I mainly want to focus on Pokemon that I actively used on my team throughout the run, and feel like this would be a very solid crew for taking on the challenges that we'll be facing here today. So of course, we have to go with our starter Liam. He has been with us all the way since the beginning. He was very fun to get to use because of how fast and powerful he is. And see, we haven't really changed too much with him, except for something that I was meaning to do a bit earlier that I feel like would be a good combo to give him that would be very useful in these next couple of fights. So I want to quickly teach Liam a couple of attacks. Namely, we're going to get rid of Screech for Sunny Day, as we are definitely not going to be needing Screech in these next couple of battles, since Liam is a special attacker. And I also want to give him Solar Beam. This is the most powerful grass-type attack we can get in the game. Sadly, it does have the downside of having to wait a turn to be able to fire it. However, when combined with Sunny Day, this gives us instant use out of this attack. So that'll be very useful in these next couple of battles. And I hate to say it, but I feel like it's time we get rid of Leaf Blade. This has been a very handy move for Liam to use the last couple of sessions we've been doing. But at this point, between our options, Giga Drain has very nice utility with its health regeneration. And I feel like just going for more power with Solar Beam over Leaf Blade being able to have a higher chance of critical hits is going to be much more reliable to us. So I feel like this would be a good set for our starter to use. And of course we also have taught him Dragon Claw, which I believe would be a good move against a few of the opponents we'll be facing forward. Yeah, but definitely know that Liam, you are definitely going to be good to us. Then of course we have Carl the Slacking. Easily the strongest Pokemon we have obtained in this run. Just so much power. Just look at those stats, is so good. Yeah, it's definitely got a good mix of power and bulk, and that reflects greatly with his moves, as he has Hyper Beam as well as Brick Break. We're doing some pretty good damage against our opponents here. We also got Slack Off as an extra healing an option if I don't feel like using items against him. But honestly, probably will, given how we still have to deal with his ability and stuff. And we also have Yawn as backup if I feel the need to do a debuff on an opponent and put them to sleep, so we won't have to worry about damage from them. Then we have Titania. Easily one of our strongest Pokemon we have gotten to use in this run, with just such formidable power as well as excellent bulk, thanks to her typing and her defense stat. She is just going to be so good against a lot of opponents we'll be facing. So I want to highlight that we now have Hyper Beam on her as some extra big damage if I feel like Iron Tail isn't going to cut it. So that's definitely a very nice upgrade to Titania. Then we have Blocky. Definitely one of the more underutilized members of our team, but whenever I brought him into battle, he has been pretty good, especially with that lonely nature. Yeah, he's pretty strong, he's got good defenses, so that's always pretty reliable. So we have taught him Earthquake in between sessions, as just the high damage from this combined with the same type attack bonus means he is going to be doing a lot of damage against some opponents here today. So I don't know how many battles we're going to be using Blocky in, especially given this particular Elite Four that we're going up against, but he could be pretty useful as backup in some pretty intense battles going forward. Then we have one of our newest recruits, Nemesis, who I was really excited to get, and getting to use her throughout this run in the last couple of sessions has been pretty interesting. Definitely not the sturdiest Pokemon out there, but she is pretty damn formidable, and there's one particular fight in this Elite Four that she is going to be incredibly useful against. So I have taught her Shadow Ball in place of Bite, which we're going to be losing out on the same type attack bonus, but Shadow Ball takes advantage of her high attack power. And combining that with Double Team and Swords Dance, we can easily set her up to do a lot of damage to opponents. So yeah, I'm definitely expecting some good results from Nemesis in the fights I'm going to be bringing her into. And then, the star of the show here in more ways than one, we have Celeste the Starmie. Just all around an excellent Pokemon with great speed and offensive power. You got so many different moves that are going to be really useful in your set. Between just the wide variety of different types you're able to dish out against opponents, yeah, you are going to be the key to many battles going forward. I know for a fact. So yep, this is the crew that we are running with. There's some Pokemon that I've definitely gotten attached to over the last couple of months, and while it is sad that we're not going to be able to bring in every Pokemon that I was using throughout this run, it is nice that we managed to settle on a good and reliable team of 6 before the finale. Also want to highlight the items that we're going to be having here today, because we got quite a few. We definitely stocked up on good healing items, especially with the Hyper and Full Restores. We, of course, have our Flutes to deal with some of the more esoteric statuses, and we got quite a lot of full heals in case we need those. And then we have the All Reliables. X items are going to be really useful in these next couple of battles, especially for setting up against specific opponents that we're going to be facing. And I also grabbed all of our PowerPoint replenishing items that we have stockpiled in the box. So we have a lot of options for being able to refill our attacks, given how things are probably going to go in this session. Also grabbed a couple of held items that I felt would be nice to swap around in between battles. And we also grabbed a couple rare candies if I feel the need to grab some extra levels for our Pokemon. So yeah, these are rare candies that I have been accumulating over the course of the adventure, either by finding them in the wild or by having them picked up by our Linoon. So that's definitely going to be very useful to us here. Then, of course, our team is definitely leveled up in between these sessions. So, between last time, we got so many levels up. The team is now 55, which I feel is an optimal level for the battles we're going to be facing here today. I could kind of recommend going a bit higher than this for the final opponent, but that's why we have the rare candies. And we're definitely going to get some experience while we're in the last couple of battles here. But yep, that's about all the prep work that I wanted to take care of before taking on our final challenge. There is nothing left for us but to take on the Pokémon League's final fights. Let's just do a quick checkup, make sure our team is optimally prepared, and we should be good. Alright, gang. You ready for this? From the moment that you picked me as your starter, I have been ready. I'll be sure to give it my all. As long as I don't have to put too much effort into this, I'll do what I can. I was prepared for this moment. I will not fail. Alright, mate. Let's show this Elite Four what we're made of. Even I cannot predict what's going to happen beyond those doors. Be on your guard. My invasion is finally coming to its end. Let's exterminate our final opponents. Alright. Let's do this. Beyond this point, only those trainers who have collected all the gym badges are permitted to enter. Trainer, let us confirm that you have all the gym badges. Trainer, believe in yourself and your Pokemon, and go forth. Let's do this. Once we step forward, there is no going back. So yeah, make sure you're optimally prepared for the Elite Four, because we got a lot of battles that we gotta do here today. Alright, for this first fight, I'm actually thinking we will switch Blocky into the front for what we're going to be facing here. Let's do this. Welcome, Challenger. I'm Sydney of the Elite Four. I like that look you're giving me. I guess you'll give me a good match. That's good. Looking real good. Alright, you and me. Let's enjoy a battle that can only be staged here in the Pokémon League. Starting things off with this punk. We got Elite Four Sydney. This guy is the master of the Dark type, and is pretty much the easiest member of the Elite Four, as you can expect from him being the first. He does lead with a Mighty Enna, though, which will use Intimidate on your first Pokemon, so be sure to be prepared for that. Thankfully, our Pokemon are very high level compared to his team, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about the attack drop here. So yeah, we're going to lead with a Sandstorm from Blocky to increase our evasiveness, and let's just go for Earthquake. Let's do as much damage as we can here. And of course, we miss. That's fine. We should be able to handle that. So now, Dark is considered special here, so our physical tanks aren't really going to get too much of a benefit, but we should be fine. We got a lot of options here, and Sydney honestly isn't that tough. Alright, we almost got that Mighty Enna down. Sadly, Sandstorm damage isn't going to be enough to finish you. Yeah, I was really worried about the... Yeah, the Intimidate drop definitely prevented Blocky from being able to make this a clean kill. And I don't want to risk him taking a critical against this thing. So let's pop our first healing item of this challenge here. Now, obviously, different Nuzlockers have different rules when it comes to using certain items in battles. I do not have any limits on how many healing items I am using in these fights. I am prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve victory here today. Alright, let's strike this hyena again. So got some good damage there. One more hit should finish you. So do not like these accuracy drops, though. Okay, Sandstorm subsided. We almost got this thing down, so let's finish you with one more Quake. Oh, come on. So yeah, Sydney's strategy with his Mighty End is to try to debuff you between the Intimidate and the Sand attacks. It's pretty annoying to have to go up against this thing first, but Blocky was able to take it out. So next opponent's gonna be Sharpedo. I definitely knew we were gonna see this thing on this guy's team. So if you're playing Emerald, Sydney would not actually have a Sharpedo on his team. He would actually have Crawdont, the evolution of Corphish. So that's definitely an interesting change between the versions. So now we switch in Liam. I'm gonna set up with Sunny Day, as we're just going to have a good shot at obliterating most of the things here. Okay, I don't appreciate you using Swagger. So we are gonna have to do a quick cure of that confusion, because I do not want to have to hurt myself here. Let's use our Yellow Flute and cure up Liam. Alright, taking a slash. Shouldn't be too bad. Okay, we need to heal up our damage, so let's just Giga Drain this thing. Should be able to easily finish it off, and fuel up Liam. Yeah, there we go. Ah, refreshing. Alright, so that's the second one down. Next up is Absol. He's actually sending out his strongest Pokemon next, and we are prepared for this. Liam, use Solar Beam! Just taste the full, concentrated power of the sun! So good. I love Solar Beam. It's such an excellent move, especially to give to whatever grass types you're going to be using. Given what we're going to be doing against this thing, we still have the sun up, so let's just go for Solar Beam again. It's not going to do as effective damage against Cacturne, but should still do a lot. Yeah, very good to see. Alright, now this thing's going to try and debuff us with Cotton Spore. That's one of the more elusive attacks, as it's only known by a couple grass types. Should still be able to outspeed you. I mean, Sceptile is the fastest of the starters, so makes sense. And our final opponent here is Shiftry. Alright, yet another grass and dark type. I'm not too worried about this thing, so let's just do neutral damage with Dragon Claw. We shouldn't have to worry too much about this thing. So yeah, once again, we're seeing those stat moves in action with him double teaming on the Shiftry, which is definitely pretty annoying. And we're getting hit with Swagger again. So Liam is actually at +4 between the Swaggers we've been hit by. So that can be quite nasty. Never mind, we can just avoid the confusion damage. I was really hoping for a high damage roll there. Alright, let's cure you, and I'm anticipating a heal. Yup. Alright, Dragon Claw really isn't cutting it right now, so I'm going to try setting up with Solar Beam again and see what we can do about this thing. It's just going to be increasing its evasiveness, and I don't really have anything for dealing with that on my other Pokemon. So let's just try to do our best here. I could have brought some X accuracies for these couple of battles. I didn't really feel like they would be too necessary. But we should be fine. This guy really isn't that bad. Just have to get around those stat moves. Oh, yeah. We're doing more damage with the Solar Beam, so one more hit should finish you. Actually, we can go for Dragon Claw to finish. Oh, come on. We almost got you down. I've got Extra Sensory. Actually, one of the more elusive Psychic-type attacks. And if you want to get that on a Shiftry, you have to keep it as a Nuzlocke for so long. Like, I think it learns it at level 49, which is just obscene. Hello, Javier. Welcome to the stream here. We are having quite the fight. Okay, that confusion is nasty. What are we gonna do about this? I don't want to have to switch to any of my other Pokemon. We don't have any... Yeah, we don't have anything to get around the accuracy, so... We're just gonna heal Liam up and then try to get rid of that confusion. Extra Sensory can definitely be a bit of a pain since Shiftry is pretty fast and that attack has the ability to make opponents flinch. So I'm gonna heal again and then we're gonna go for an attack. This ruffian is definitely being more formidable than I expected. Okay, this thing just maxed out our attack stats. That is not good. As Liam hits himself in confusion, that's going to do a lot of damage. So come on, buddy. You can do this. Just need one hit. Wait, really? Oh, yeah, you can still confuse. He just can't inflict statuses. Oh, come on. And he can't raise our stats at this point. So, yeah. I do not like this here. I mean, this thing is really only doing damage with... Do I want to go to Nemesis? So there's no way we'll be able to outspeed this thing. We could switch over to Celeste, but I don't know if this thing has a dark attack on it. It probably doesn't, but... Yeah, this is an interesting situation here. I was not expecting Shiftry to give us this much trouble. It's like, I'm worried about Liam because his attack stats maxed out and Confusion's gonna do so much damage. You know what? Let's try this. I'm not too worried about Nemesis here, because you're not going to take damage from Extra Sensory. I know you can't outspeed this thing, but we should be able to finish you off with a return. Wait, we actually did? What? Oh, right. I forgot about the Cotton Spore that Liam was hit by. Okay, so we at least know that we outspeed this thing with Nemesis. We just get rid of the confusion, we should be good. As long as we can get one hit against this thing, we should be good. Stop confusing me. You are being such a pain right now. If there is one thing I will give Sydney this, he is good at testing your patience. There we go. And since you foolishly raised Nemesis's attack stats, we are easily able to finish you. Well, how do you like that? I lost. It was fun, so it doesn't matter. Also, the irony I beat this guy using his signature Pokemon. Well, listen to what this loser has to say. You've got what it takes to go far. Now, go on to the next room and enjoy your next battle. That was definitely a trickier fight than I was expecting. Thankfully, we got plenty of items, so we'll be able to fuel up from this. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting fight. So after that, we are going to switch Nemesis into the lead for our next opponent. So we dealt with that dastardly dark user. So now, who do we have next?
I'm Phoebe of the Elite Four. I did my training on Mount Pyre. While I train, I gain the ability to commune with ghost-type Pokémon. Yes, the bond I developed with Pokémon is extremely tight. So come on, just try and see if you can even inflict damage on my Pokémon.
Next up is the ghastly ghost girl, Phoebe. I really love the Polynesian aesthetic she's got going on. It's really cute. Well, yep, she uses ghost-type Pokemon. So this is going to be Nemesis's starring battle. We're going to be starting by setting up with Double Team to increase our evasiveness. So I want to... Oh, you. That is very mean. So for this fight, we're going to have to be dealing with Curse. This move is really nasty. Cuts the HP of the user in half in order to inflict a very mean status against your opponent. So they will be taking a lot of damage at the end of every turn. Okay, Nemesis, you got your setup. We just have to deal with something obnoxious here. You know what? Let's use a full restore and see if that will get rid of the curse. I believe full restores are pretty good at getting rid of status ailments. I'm just not sure of which ones are... Yeah, we can't cure the curse. At the very least, we should be able to finish off the Dupes Clause. So, let's Shadow Ball. And got a critical hit, too. Not bad. It's a little worried because Dupes Clause is very defensive, but thanks to our attack buff, we should be good. And next is Bayonet. God, really? It's going to be a pain having to deal with our HP constantly draining here, but we should be fine. Nemesis should be able to resist anything these Pokemon can do to us. Really? So Will-O-Wisp is able to burn us, which is really bad because now we're going to be taking a lot of status damage at the end of attacks. That combined with whatever this Bayonet could potentially also do to us, that's going to add up. So we'll have to full restore to get rid of that. Ugh, such a pain. And this thing can use Spite to deplete the power points of our attacks. Yeah, yet another battle that tests your patience and serves to drain your resources in a very nasty way. Thankfully, we should be able to finish off this Bayonet here. Yeah, you are not as defensive as Dupes Clause, so that one is not too bad. The next opponent is Sableye. Alright, we're going to... I'm pretty sure this thing doesn't have anything that's gonna hurt Nemesis a lot. Let's see... Yeah, we'll use our Lemonade there. It's got Shadow Ball, but that's not gonna do much damage. Really? Critical hit? Oh my god, this fight is the worst. I do not want to deal with this curse right now. So what I'm going to do, we're going to switch into Carl. There shouldn't be anything the Sableye can reliably do to Carl due to him being a normal type. Gonna heal up Nemesis, and then we're going to try this again. So we are going to have to reset your stats, but we should be fine. Let's just do a Hyper Potion. Oh, you actually got Psychic. That's an interesting coverage move there. Alright, we should still be good to switch Nemesis back in. If that thing tries to go for Psychic again,
It's gonna do nothing. Hop, attract. Sorry, but Nemesis does not swing that way. I do not swing any direction, actually. Oh, neat. Okay, shouldn't have to worry too much about damage to the Sableye. So, we're going to be setting up with Swords Dance, now that we have an opportunity to do so. Alright, I think we should be fine to just max out your attack stat there. Yeah, get ourselves a lot of boosts. Man, Double Team has not been helping us out here, has it? But that's still fine. Special defense is lowered, but that's perfectly fine. We should be able to finish off the rest of Phoebe's team, regardless of how much bulk we have here. Alright, let's go to Shadow Ball and finish this little imp. Yeah, Sableye can be tricky because it doesn't really have a weakness in this generation. If you're playing Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, however, definitely use a fairy move against that thing. Okay, now that we no longer have to worry about Curse, this should be so much easier. We'll just annihilate the rest of her team. Ah, so good. And her final Pokemon is yet another Dupes Clause. So if you're playing the remakes, she would actually have a Dusk Noir as her ace, which is pretty cool. It's very nice to see that particular Pokemon being used in the Hoenn games. But with that, Phoebe is finally exorcised. Oh, darn, I've gone and lost. It's definitely an exciting battle. There's a definite bond between you and your Pokemon, too. I didn't recognize it, so it's only natural that I lost. Yep, I'd like to see how far your bomb will carry you. Go ahead, move on to the next room. I definitely like Phoebe a lot. Definitely a character I wish got a lot more attention, you know? Alright, let's heal up the party since there was a bit of a licking that we took. Yeah, Nemesis was definitely very good at fighting through the darkness there. So now it's time for... Could someone turn up the thermostat? So yeah, we're going to be leading with Titania for this one. Oh boy, of all the battles we're going up against, this is definitely one I've been dreading.
Welcome! My name is Glacia, the Elite Four. I travel from afar to Hoenn so that I may hone my ice skills. But all I've seen are challenges by weak trainers and their Pokemon. What about you? It would please me to no end if I could go all out against you.
Time to face a woman as cold as ice. Also, how'd you change the color of your dress? Whatever. Elite Four Glacia. We'll be using Ice-type Pokemon, starting with Glalie, the evolution of Snorunt. So yeah, this thing is... honestly, not too bad. Just go for Iron Tail and try to do some high damage here. So I wanted Titania in for this fight, as being a Steel type, she naturally resists Ice-type attacks, while also being able to do really good damage with Iron Tail as well as Rock Tomb against her Pokemon. Of course, there are some Pokemon we'll need to watch out for, and we'll definitely talk about them when they appear. But Titania is definitely a good fit for this fight. So next up, yeah, I was worried about this one, Celio. Honestly, this one isn't going to be too bad. Considering the attacks you can do, I'm actually going to switch over to Celeste. Celio is mainly going to be using water and ice type attacks, and Celeste resists both of those, so they should be able to have an easy time taking care of those seals.
Yes, your blubber will serve as good fuel for our starships!
And Thunderbolt will be doing quite a bit of damage. Oh, I actually forgot to switch the magnet onto Celeste, since that would increase the damage of... oh, come on. Paralysis. Yeah, that is definitely not something I am liking here. And Paralysis could really be a pain, so we'll just full restore and get rid of that. So another neat change between the remakes is that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, instead of Celio, Glacia would be using Frozlass, which is the alternate evolution for Snorunt if it's a female and you evolve it using a Dawnstone, which I feel is a very cool idea. Just very cool to see these Pokemon added in later generations being put onto these Generation 3 teams. I really like that. Alright, the Celio is paralyzed, and depending on whether you're going to be using another item here... Nope! Let's just take this sucker out. Not bad. And your next Pokemon is gonna be Glalie. Okay, we're gonna switch over back to Titania for this, because Celeste really doesn't have an easy way of handling this thing. So, yeah, she definitely likes to use Hail in order to do continuous damage to your team, as it's not going to damage Ice types, Bubble damage, any other type of Pokemon. And also, depending on the Pokemon, they could have abilities that benefit from the Hail, like Snow Cloak or Ice Body. But we shouldn't have to worry about any of that in this fight. This is probably going to be the last Pokemon that Titania is going to be facing on Glacia's team, thankfully. As after that, we got ourselves some more water Pokemon to deal with. Alright, let's put Celeste back in. So I'm not expecting to use Titania for the rest of this fight. Alright, this thing's gonna be diving, so we're not gonna be able to hit it. So, how about I take this opportunity to finally bring out our X items? So we are going to pop an X special to increase our special attack, and then when you rise back up, we'll just strike you with an even stronger Thunderbolt, and this should be able to take you out. Of course, we still gotta worry about the hail damage, but it should be fine. Yep, that takes care of the Blubber Ball. And now we're on to Glacia's final Pokemon, Walrein! One of my personal favorite Pokemon from Generation 3. This thing is a beast. Fantastic stats across the board. So it's incredibly powerful and bulky. In between water and ice, this thing can do a lot of damage. We got a special attack boost on Celeste, so let's go for Thunderbolt, see what we're able to do. I'm not expecting a KO because this thing is really bulky, but we'll see what we can do. Oh, we actually took it out! Man, sometimes I underestimate my Pokemon's strength, but we did use an X item.
You and your Pokemon, how hot your spirits burn! The all-consuming heat overwhelms. It's no surprise my icy skills failed to harm you.
So another nasty thing with that Walrein is that thing is also packing Sheer Cold, which is a one-hit KO move. Very nasty if that thing hits.
Advance to the next room, and there confirm the truly fearsome side of the Pokémon League.
That we shall. So I'm actually going to take this opportunity to switch the Never Melt Ice onto Celeste, as that's going to be very important to us in the next fight. Alright, let's heal up. Plenty of items, so we don't need to worry too much. There we go. Alright, so this next battle, spoilers, I'm expecting Celeste to just take the gold in this next fight. So let's move on out of the ice and warm ourselves up in the Dragon's Lair. Yep, we got one of those trainers to deal with. So we should be plenty good. Got Never Melt Ice, we got plenty of items. Okay, let's do this. I am the last of the Pokémon League Elite Four, Drake the Dragon Master. In the natural state, Pokémon are wild, living things. They are free. At times they hinder us. At times they help us. For us to battle with Pokémon as partners, do you know what it takes? Do you know what is needed? If you don't, then you will never prevail over me. Now we face the Dragon Captain Drake, the final member of the Elite Four, and the Dragon Master. See, I definitely like this guy's aesthetic, how he's got like the old sea captain vibe to him. And alongside that, it just makes sense with the fact that Hoenn is such a water-focused region to have like a sea captain be the final member of the Elite Four, you know? Now what I want to do against this guy, I want to do some setup against his first Pokemon, which is a Shelgon. So what I would like to do is try to raise our... Come on, stop lowering my speed. This thing is nasty. I want to set up with Celeste so that we'll be able to easily sweep the rest of this guy's team. But this thing is rather... Oh, you got Crunch. That is bad. Okay, didn't do as much damage as I was expecting. And we shouldn't have to worry about our speed drop at the moment. Alright, let's heal up. Yeah, we'll just Hyper Potion. We got our stats up quite a bit, so we should be prepared for this thing. Stop lowering our speed! I need that in this fight! You know what? Let's just get rid of this thing. It's being really annoying without Rock 2. So yeah, against dragons, you'll want to have Ice, as that is really good for dealing with these guys. Alternatively, you could bring your own dragon to use in this fight, but that could also come with its own risks. And over here, we got ourselves Flygon. This thing, believe it or not, is the final form of Trapinch, a ground type we encountered back in the desert of Route 111. That thing is quite the good Pokemon. Just good stats overall. Ground Dragon is a very cool typing. Then we got this beast, Salamence. This thing is very nasty. One of the powerhouse Pokemon of this generation. And easily one of the strongest that you can catch in this game before the post-game. Oh boy, I was worried about this. Let's just go for Ice Beam and hope for the best. Oh, that Crunch is gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt. Oh, we missed. Oh, that Sand Attack. Oh boy, that really sucks. Celeste cannot outspeed this thing. And I was hoping to go for the Ice Beam to just one-shot it. So yeah, Celeste at this point is probably not going to be our most optimal Pokemon for dealing with this thing. So let's switch back to Titania. So what I'd like to do is have Titania take a couple hits. Being a Steel type, she should be able to handle most of what this thing is able to do. And then we're going to take this opportunity to heal up Celeste. And we'll switch you back in when I feel it is necessary. But yeah, this thing is quite powerful. Most of its attacks are going to be special. So yeah, if it goes for Flamethrower again, we should be fine. Let's switch back into Celeste. But yeah, Titania, you're definitely taking a beating there. But we should be good. Okay, it's going for Flamethrower. That's not going to do too much against Celeste. Alright, our stats are reset, so let's go for Ice Beam. Woo! And we actually outspeed it this time, thankfully. So this should do a lot of damage. Yep, takes it out in one hit. Salamence is really powerful, but being a dragon flying type, it is very weak to ice. So exploit that weakness. Next up is Altaria. Also a dragon flying type, though a lot more defensive compared to Salamence. Shouldn't have to worry too much about this bird. We dealt with your kind before. And that takes care of you. And the final Pokemon on the forecast here is Flygon. Yep, he has another Flygon. In Emerald, Drake would actually use a Kingdra on his team. which I definitely like, given that it's a water dragon type, so it's not weak against ice. Definitely fits his team very well, especially with him being a sea captain. Let's just finish you off with another ice attack, and that's it.
Your puny lizards are no match for my alien mind!
Superb, it should be said. Oh man, that was an intense fight. You deserve every credit for coming this far as a trainer of Pokemon. You do seem to know what is needed. Yes, what a trainer needs is a virtuous heart. Pokemon touch the good hearts of trainers and learn good from wrong. They touch the good hearts of trainers and grow strong. Go onwards. The champion is waiting. Oh boy. Only one fight remains. Before moving forward, make sure your team is optimally healed. Make sure your power points are replenished. Make sure your held items are what you would like them to be. So in this case, we're going to switch the Sea Incense back onto Celeste. And I'm going to take this opportunity to use our rare candies. At this point, our Pokemon could definitely use the boost in stats for the next battles we're going up against. So we got ourselves a pretty formidable fight on our hands. This team did really good. We managed to get through the first 4 battles with no casualties. If we can keep this up, then we got ourselves a nice win on our hands. Let's get everyone up to 57, which will put us just below the level of our final opponent. So I feel like that will be pretty good. Okay. Alright, for this next opponent, we're probably going to be leading with Celeste again. Let me just look at our power points here. I'm not expecting to use Ice Beam that much in the next fight, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about that. We have not used Carl at all. Nemesis would be pretty good to give, we'll give you an Ether. Liam definitely used quite a bit, so we'll use one of our elixirs. Blocky could definitely use an Ether for Earthquake. And Titania should be good. Alright, Nemesis. Let's get all of you guys powered up again. It's actually pretty nice we don't have to rely too much on our items here. But yeah, we still use quite a lot of resources for this fight. Oh boy, here comes the big one. This next battle is going to decide the entire run. Whether we win or lose, it all comes down to this. Let us go forward and face the king of the Hoenn region Pokémon League and the strongest trainer in this game. Welcome, Hayden. I was looking forward to seeing you here one day. You, what'd you see on your journey with Pokemon? What did you feel meeting so many other trainers like you? What has awoken in you? I want you to hit me with it all. Now, bring it! Like a shimmering gemstone, Steven is the champion of the Hoenn region and our final opponent here today. If you're playing Emerald, you would instead fight Wallace, who used a team of all water-type Pokemon and is honestly pretty easy if you've prepared your team for it. But this guy, he is quite different. He has 2 themes when it comes to his team. He likes Steel-type Pokemon, as well as Pokemon with an ancient motif. So we definitely got ourselves a variety of opponents to deal with that are both very strong and also very defensive. Let's just lead off with a Thunderbolt against his Skarmory. This thing, it can be quite nasty. It's got great bulk, it has very few weaknesses due to being steel flying, and it's definitely good for setting up. That thing's Toxic is very nasty for whittling down your Pokemon's HP. Yeah, I predicted you would go for full restore. This guy's also going to be using a lot of items, so, you know, prepare for that mentally. I believe he has 4 full restores, so yeah, he's definitely got options for healing his team. Alright, so let's should handle the Skarmory, and then we'll see what we're going to do against the next Pokemon.
Well, that's one taken care of. The rest will hopefully fall as easily.
Oh boy, we got this beast. Aggron. Celeste, you definitely taken a lot here. So let us switch you out. Blocky, you should be more than defensive enough to take this Aggron's hits. Oh yeah, we just come in and completely absorb that Thunder. Yeah, Aggron doesn't really have good special attack, but it's got great coverage with a lot of different moves. Let's go for Earthquake and just do as much damage as we can. There's also no sense of really using Sandstorm against his team, because all of his Pokemon are immune to Sandstorm damage. I mean, we can at least get an evasive boost on Blocky, but it's not going to be that reliable against most of his Pokemon. Next up, we got Cradilly. This thing is definitely going to be nasty. Of our options here, you are... Let's actually go to Carl. So Cradilly here is a Grass Rock type, a very formidable Pokemon, and also quite the accomplished capitalist, as I've heard, in certain regions. Yeah, I don't like that confusion this thing is doing to us. You are a nasty Pokemon to go up against. I just switched in Carl, so let's go for the Brick Break. Let's just use our attacking turn to do some damage. Then we'll use our Truant turn to try to cure that confusion. But yeah, this thing is really nasty. It's got Giga Drain in order to replenish its HP should you damage it. And it's also very bulky, so it's easily able to last against your team thanks to that. Definitely a formidable plant to go up against. I'd definitely say this is probably the best grass type in this game. But then again, there are already so many good grass types between like Sceptile, Ludicolo, Breloom. But Cradilly's definitely up there. It's a great Pokemon. Alright, we're confused again. We can heal that on our next turn. Just take advantage of our Truant turns to be able to do healing for Carl. You're going to be healing up again, but that's perfectly fine. We've taken quite a bit of damage, but we should be good. Let's go for another Brick Break. Ooh, very nice. Got a high damage roll that time. It's going for the Confuse Ray. We'll just cure that up after this. Ugh, this is taking too much effort. Just want to sleep through these battles. Come on, Carl. We all have to pitch in here. Fine. Okay, that didn't heal a good amount for you. So this next Brick Break should finish off Cradilly. Bam! And there you go. Very good. Alright, so next opponent is Claydol. So got ourselves a very defensive ground psychic type to deal with. Nemesis would be able to handle any psychic attack coming its way, but this thing definitely has Earthquake. So I'm going to switch over to Liam. So what I'd like to do against you is set up the Sun. Yep, I predicted the Earthquake. That's not going to do too much to us. So I would like to set up with the Sun and just hammer this thing with Solar Beams. Just do as much damage as we can to it. Alright, that definitely is taking a lot out of Liam now, but we should be good. Let's go for Solar Beam and finish this doll off. there it goes. So now that we dealt with Steven's toy, what's next? Armaldo! This is a bug rock type, and the final form of Anorith. Another one of the fossil Pokemon. Yeah, against you, probably be best to switch over to Titania. I think this thing can learn water-type attacks, so that's something we gotta watch out for, but we should be fine. Take that Aerial Ace like a champ. Oh yeah, we have the sun up, so even if it does do a water attack, it's not gonna do a lot of damage. Oh, come on. Iron Tail's been pretty good throughout this run, but it's just been missing so much lately. Come on, Titania, you can do this. I will not fall, not against this puny insect. Just smash through that thing. Yeah, there we go. So now that Armaldo is down, we just got one last opponent to deal with. Metagross, Steven's strongest Pokemon and one of the other powerhouse Pokemon of this game. This thing is a Steel Psychic type, one of the best defensive typings in the game. Along with that, it is very powerful and knows some very powerful attacks. Titania, I honestly need to switch you out. You are not going to be able to handle this thing. Of our options here, I feel like Blocky is our best Pokemon to switch in. Alright, let's have a go then. We're going to be taking an Earthquake, which I predicted. We should be able to handle that. Okay, pretty good. So Metagross a bit on the slow side, but I don't know how slow it's going to be compared to Blocky. Let's just do our best here. Let's go for Earthquake. It's pretty much our best damaging move against this thing. Let's do it. We outspeed. Come on. Just pierce through its defenses. Not enough. It's going for Psychic. Oh, that's going to be bad. Oh my god. We survived. So Metagross is going to be using its Citrus Berry. I highly doubt that this thing is going to be able to outspeed us. It should not have a priority attack. I think we won. Blocky, finish it. All right, mate. Time to send you down under. We did it! This is the first time I have actually defeated Steven in Generation 3 Nuzlocke runs. So, woo! We did it. We have successfully done a deathless Nuzlocke run. Oh my god. That was amazing. I am so happy for my team right now. God, we fought through so much to get to this point, and to see us all finally defeat the champion here together. Just everyone pulling their weight in these final challenges. God, I'm so happy. I, the champion, fall in defeat. Kudos to you, Hayden. You are a truly noble Pokemon trainer. So fun fact about Steven, during the last arc of the Pokemon anime that Ash was a part of, Steven was considered the number 3rd ranked trainer in the entire world, only being beaten out by Cynthia and Leon. So yeah, this guy is that powerful, and we managed to deal with him with no casualties. God, I am so happy right now. Congratulations! The feelings you have for your Pokemon, and the Pokemon that responded to those feelings with all their might. They came together as one and created an even greater power. And thus, you were able to grasp victory today. You are rightfully the Hoenn region's new... Huh?
Hayden! Here's some advice before you challenge the champion.
Wait.
Huh? What? Hayden, could it be that it's already over?
See? What did I tell you, May? Didn't I tell you that you don't need to worry about Hayden? Hayden, you've finally done it. When I heard you defeated your own father at the Petalburg gym, I thought perhaps you had a chance. But to think you've actually become the champion! Ah, yes! What became of your Pokedex? Here, let me see. So you seen 163 Pokemon, and you caught 75 Pokemon. This is gonna be a fantastic Pokedex, that's the feeling I'm getting. Anyways, congratulations. Now, go proudly into the final room. Hayden, no, the new champion. Come with me. I'm sorry, but from here on, only those trainers who become champions may enter. You'll have to wait outside with the professor.
Aww. I'm just joking. That's okay. That's the rule. Hayden, honestly, congratulations.
It's great to know that May and the professor were there to congratulate us at the very end, since they were the ones who started our journey in the first place. This room. This is where we keep records of Pokemon that prevailed through harsh battles. It's here that the League champions are honored. Come on, let's record your name as a trainer who triumphed over the Pokémon League, and the names of the partners who battled with you. I am so relieved right now. So welcome to the Hall of Fame. Celeste the Starmie, Carl the Slacking, Nemesis the Absol, Liam the Sceptile, Blocky the Sand Slash, and Titania the Aggron. Just excuse me at the moment. Just making sure I kept a screenshot of our team here. But, oh boy. Look at the time here. I spent all this time going through not just this game on stream, but also doing time to prepare all of our different Pokemon we've been using throughout this run. Leveling them up. Leveling up potential recruits in the box. And so much more to be able to get us here at this moment. And in the end, we are the champions of the Hoenn region. And that is Pokemon Sapphire. Honestly, I'm still of the opinion that of the Generation 3 games that are available to us, and especially when you consider the remakes, there isn't much reason to return to Ruby and Sapphire. I highly believe that Emerald is the superior of the Hoenn games when you're going back to Generation 3. And I definitely love a lot of the new changes added into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and definitely consider those worthy successors to the original Generation 3. So I recommend Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire if you choose to play these games, as well as if you want to do Nuzlocke runs of those particular games, especially Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, since those have some great quality of life features that make doing Nuzlocke runs in those games very nice. But it's fun to revisit the classic games, and I'm definitely happy that I went through Sapphire and managed to build this very interesting story with all of our Pokemon, all the trials that we have faced along the way, and managing to come out of it with not a single fatality during these live streams. Let's be fair, I will say that during training, in between stream sessions, accidents happen, you know. But I feel like we kept the spirit of the run alive quite well throughout these stream videos. Like, throughout this entire run, I made sure to only tackle story events on screen. So like, all the important battles necessary to finish the game were done live. No second attempts. There were no redos of anything. So we're able to keep the spirit of the challenge alive during these live streams. And I feel like with everything we have been through, I can proudly say that we have managed to finish this run as a successful Nuzlocke, having managed to go through the entire game, beating all major battles, all the gym leaders, all the rival fights, all of our villainous team encounters, every battle against the final challenges in the Pokémon League. This run was a success, I feel, and it's definitely very fun to get to revisit the Generation 3 games. Like, I started this series before it was announced that Fire Red and Leaf Green were coming to the Nintendo Switch live service, and so that obviously means that eventually we're going to get Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, because that definitely seems likely at this point. So I'm very excited that these games are going to be featured on the Nintendo Switch pretty soon. Definitely looking forward to get into those so that I can achieve my dream of fully completing the Generation 3 Pokédex in those games. So yeah, with all that said, this is indeed the finale of our Pokemon Sapphire streams. There is a little bit of post-game content that you're able to do in this game, but I don't feel like it's worth covering. Especially because Emerald has a way better post-game, and I had previously covered, like, most of that when I streamed that game on Twitch years ago. So, now that we're done with Sapphire, what can we expect in the future of this channel? Well, over the next couple of days, I would like to get back to posting some of my Twitch VODs from back in the day of some games that I have previously played through. Maybe it will be one of our Pokemon playthroughs, maybe it'll be something completely different, I do not know yet. And I'm probably going to be taking next week off from doing live streams, as I actually got a considerable amount of days off from work next week, especially with Easter Sunday coming up. So definitely like to take some time to relax and not have to worry about live streams for a while. But we'll be back later in April to revisit a game that I previously streamed on Twitch that I feel like would be very fun to return to. And then after that, I'm planning to jump into a new game that I have not played on any of my channels for a series that I have a lot of love for, and I'm very excited to get to play here on YouTube. So thank you for joining me on this recent Pokemon playthrough. It has been a blast to do, and I'm so glad that I put the energy into doing this very fun, if very stressful run. So, I feel like I got nothing more to say here at this point. I love Pokemon. I always will love Pokemon. Also, play Pokemon Pokopia. That game just came out pretty recently, and it is amazing. I love it so much. Play Fire Red and Leaf Green. They were recently released on the Nintendo Switch, and they are just very fun to go back to and play. Looking forward to eventually playing Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald when they get released on the Nintendo Switch pretty soon. And I'm very excited for Winds and Waves when they come out next year. So, nothing else to say except have a good day and take care.